if it really it makes no difference coming here or not coming here to these meetings, to listen to the message. You could be out shopping and never come across this message, and the energy just
falls away. Yeah. I mean, the main thing is that there's no choice. There's nobody that comes to meetings, nobody that chooses to come to meetings. Meetings, there's just an attraction, magnetic pull towards what. What is it?
It is just what appears.
Yes. So there's nothing that anyone can do about coming to meetings or not. That's a better way of saying that, because otherwise there's this idea that there's some sort of choice about that, and that there's somebody that can decide to come to a meeting.
And the same with a dislike for certain things, or you know,
it's just attraction, repulsion.
Yes, just natural.
Just natural, completely natural.
Yes, that's really good. Yeah. Causeless. There's no. I mean, there's like, you know, when you're choosing drinks, or you know what you're going to have, a coffee or a tea or whatever. That's already known, already decided, you know. It's not, I mean, there's nobody that decides that. It's just attraction to tea or attraction to coffee, you know. Or,
it's a preference.
Or dislike of vegetables as a kid. Repulsion at eating
sure.
certain vegetables. It's like.
But there isn't that as a kid, and then
as a kid,
and in this, vegetables might be eaten.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? There's no traditions here. Everything's new.
Yeah, it seems foreign. The word traditions.
I mean,
is,
like sort of patterns of behaviour that are sort of dogmatic, like a sort of.
Or like family, what we used to eat in one country.
Yes, I mean preferences seem to happen spontaneously. Everything is spontaneous. It's not happening because there was you didn't like that as a child. There's a sense that is not liked. And that might seem to have been as a child and now.
That's right.
But ultimately, it's responded to immediately.
Yes.
There's a sense that something doesn't smell good or look good, or you know, it's all attraction and repulsion immediately.
That just went over my head.
It's amazing.
But there can be like habits which might be unhealthy, like attractions which are unhealthy.
Well, but I mean, essentially, the body doesn't, you know, attractions to what? What do you mean?
Well, maybe let's say ice cream. I want to eat ice cream every day, but I have like might have a heart condition,
right.
And then I might say, well, no, actually, that's not a healthy attraction, so I'm going to, you know, manage.
Well, that's what will seem to be the case. That's what will happen.
Right.
Is that there will be a sense somehow that isn't. You know what I mean, basically, you're talking about, in a certain sense, something where there's an addictive process.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's nobody that is addicted. There might be a constant sort of reaching for something that has a particular effect.
Right.
All of these things have a particular effect.
Yeah.
A lot of the time is to kind of you know, to for a short period of time reduce the tension in the body. So, you know, sugar will do that, alcohol will do that, drugs will do that, lots of things will do that. There's a reaching for that.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that. So there is an effect that occurs with that with tension, with contraction, where there is a reaching for something which is going to help that to feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
And all of that happens completely naturally and spontaneously.
Yeah.
The body is constantly sort of trying to rid itself of tension.
But some people thrive on it.
Well, thrive, yeah, I mean, they get by.
I've got with guys who needed to fight every weekend.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's the catharsis, yeah. It's a way of managing tension. All of these attention management, there's a lot of what goes on with the contraction of me, which is about tension management. So there's nobody, you know, there's no good and bad, is what I'm trying to say. There's no, you know, this is healthy and good, and unhealthy and bad, relative to what? You know, there's contraction in the body, and somebody's reaching for something that is helping to calm that contraction down, or whatever it is. That's what seems to happen. The body's doing that. So there could be a possibility that there can be that what they're reaching for can destroy the body, and other things can be, you know, can be chosen which won't do that. But it's chosen for there's an effect. There's an effect that is desired. There's an effect. All of these things that are desired, you know, somehow. And always, very often, to reduce tension that's going on. To feel better for a short period. And nobody is doing any of it.
So those addictions kind of would fall away if you see,
Often, addictions to lots of things, they don't really hold, because there's no body, there's no tension. The tension, the addiction, or essentially the constant reaching for something, is as a result of the tension, or the me, the contraction of what seems to be a contraction of me.
Are you willing to share what addictions might have fallen away?
Well, here.
Yeah.
Well, mainly to coming to meetings.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Didn't work, didn't it?
just changed.
In another form.
Yeah, but I mean, there was an addiction of a kind of, you know, in a way it was like that. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't, I didn't have any big kind of addictive, but I guess to food to some extent, you know, food to make me feel a bit better, sort of that sort of constant needing something, you know, I need something, you know, to like something like that.
Was there a release of energy when you were no longer using it to contract?
Well, there's more energy.
Yeah.
There's a sense of having more energy, and there's also a sense that I don't need actually as much sleep. Funnily enough, that is quite a recent thing. But I don't need as much sleep as I used to. Yeah. It's surprising because I just wake up and I'm, you know, there's energy there, and normally if I'd woken up I would have been tired, you know. But so yeah, somehow there's just I think that there's just not so much. Yes, it's more efficient. More efficient.
Is it because there's no burden? The me it carries burden and needs longer sleep to.
Yeah, in a way,
recuperate.
it's a resistance.
Resistance.
Me is constantly resisting what is, in a way, which is quite tiring, to say the least.
Like that whole setup's of tension, it's like a holding tension.
Yeah.
So it's like a constant switched on. It's tiring even in itself, this sort of energetic. Like when you can see when that's sort of not, it's just, there's just a more natural functioning. There's not a sort of slight contracted sort of holding on, this watching this.
Yeah.
The vigilance.
Yeah.
Kind of vigilance.
Yeah, it's a kind of vigilance, but it's energetic as much as anything really.
A sort of neurosis that sits right at the bottom, And what about relationships?
Well, there's no relationship. Relationship is 1 and 2. You know, that's the relationship. So there's just attraction, repulsion for no one, you know. And attraction is very often sort of, it's interesting that attraction is associated with love. Yeah, so there's the thing that the energy that is loved is very often in the me state is very often, you know, considered to be what is being attracted to. That's very associated with my love, you know, is the one that you are attracted to, the one. But this is a kind of need love or
that kind of pathological
romantic love.
Where it's a codependency or whatever, and a lot of relationships are kind of addictive and codependent and
because there's 2. As soon as there's 2, there's a sort of, you know, my other half in a way.
Oh yes.
That's where that's from, you know. So there is no thought about relationship. That's perhaps the best word. There's no, the idea of relationship and being in a relationship and getting a relationship right, and, you know, all of that stuff, all of that heavy stuff associated, there's none of that. It's just what is. There's a draw towards, and that draw towards can be for a long time or a short time. You know, there's no knowing of that because there's no time involved. You know, there's just newness. It is always new.
And it's the same with friendships and
everything. And relate. You know, there's also. I mean, it's completely different, but it's a relate. Everything is the same. Everything's the same. Attraction, repulsion, all the time.
So, David, attraction, repulsion, and no one doing it.
No one doing it, yeah.
So, then the me has to be an overlay because the me might think, oh yeah, I did this and I did. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might look at a potential partner and do this and then plan and then decide and then all of it. And the entire thing's an overlay.
The
thought.
Thought. Yes, it's all an attachment to those repulsions and attractions. I love that one. I hate that one. You know, it's like you know, the I is the. You know, this is my love. This is my hate. It's owned.
So choosing happens without a chooser.
Yeah,
And-
well,
and
yeah,
that-
yeah. Or attraction happens without.
Without yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the in Buddhist and many traditions, it's like you have to avoid attraction and
Yes,
passion, don't you?
it's
And
just
it's
the same
like
thing.
it's
It's the
so
same.
naturally,
Yeah.
naturally the body will move
That's a good one.
towards something that it's attracted to
Yeah.
and avoid something it's not, or the
Yeah.
repulsion. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
And then the me attaches to mine attached to mine, and then Buddhists will, I think against Buddhists, I'm just talking about how I've been introduced to it.
Yeah.
So, well, you mustn't do that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, me mustn't do that. So it's like
I mean,
reinforcing that
sure.
there's a me that shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Buddhism is a religion.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's a religion, and so in all of those religions, you're going to have a set of rules, which is designed to get you somewhere. Enlightenment, heaven, whatever version of that, essentially paradise lost. It's trying to get you to that. So you have to go on a path with a set of rules, going to get something over there at some time in the future, when you're good enough. So that rules you. Sorry.
I was going to say the same thing, but you knew I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. So quick to get in there.
You've definitely failed.
Doesn't it all come from a sort of sense of lack?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean that,
Sure.
yeah.
Because
not being enough in oneself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's a sense the sense of separation is the sense that that I am separate from everything. So there's so there is a huge lack because you want everything. The me wants absolutely everything. That's why it can't put a finger on what it actually wants, because it's absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And interestingly, that's in a certain sense the seemingly hidden nature of this, is that it is already everything. So it's seeking for your glasses whilst they're on top of your head. Or this metaphor which I like, which is just, seeking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow when all there is gold.
Do you think in terms of your work that the body is naturally inclined to take care of itself?
The body is completely autonomous.
Yeah.
It just moves towards what it needs to thrive, to blossom.
Intuitively,
Naturally, yes. Moves towards what's pleasurable and away from what is painful, instinctively.
So me is quite good at stopping that, isn't it?
Well, it just sort of makes that less efficient.
Yeah.
If it stopped that, then the body would die. It just wouldn't be,
The me's not geared to intuition.
Well, the me is constantly seeking, and intuition doesn't come from anywhere. It's just spontaneous.
Mm.
So the me is not spontaneous. It's in time. It's in, you know, it's not as spontaneous. It's quite, in a certain sense, there's a sort of slowness about the me state. It makes the body inefficient and slower in response to things. So yeah. Does that answer what you were saying?
I don't know whether it's a question or just...
Okay, yeah.
And David, is it slower because it's a sort of unnatural response versus natural? The meaning says slower.
Well, it's not unnatural. I mean, there isn't anything in a certain sense that's unnatural, because all of, you know, the me state is something that is just what seems to happen with humans. It's just, it seems to be something that's going on. You know, that's born of well, it is the natural reality, but it is a sort of well, it's a contraction within boundless energy.
Because I'm kind of wondering that what the me actually does. It might just be an overlay, just something that...
Well, it's just an energetic contraction. Apparent energetic contraction. But yes, I mean, it veils, it overlays, in a way you could say that, yeah. It's a veiling, yeah.
So in a sense, our very materiality is almost a contraction as well.
Well, how do you...
Bodies are, I mean, there are ideas out there that, you know, that everything is consciousness, and that the material body is a kind of a crystallization of that consciousness, or a manifestation of the consciousness, almost like a contraction.
Yeah, well, consciousness or awareness is, in a certain sense, another way of the known, of expressing something as being known. So there's no need for there to be a conscious inner body conscious of something. If there is a consciousness, there's a consciousness of something else. So it's already a kind of dualism. And awareness is the same thing. You know, I am aware of, you know, without there being a subject and object, the awareness is completely ends. Those are part of the me state, and the me state is constantly seeking to nail down something that is real, because it gets a sense that there's that contractive sense is the feeling that I am real, and real as in there is a centre, and that centre is a real sort of solid thing that is a dense thing that is a real thing,
and separate from
separate from everything. Yeah.
Like, it sort of slows everything down in a way. It's sort of, oh, I have to filter this. It's a sort of an internal filter. It slows, even by the energetic attention of it. It just slows everything down. Because it almost has to like something seems to be happening, and then absorbed, filtered, and then sort of it just slows everything. It's like a drag on the whole system in a way. It's like a slowing down.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
descent to me often feels like it's in a constant freeze state, like it's just holding the breath, and it's just holding in, and the one thing it doesn't want is any aliveness whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, it's
I mean, not that it has a want, it's just
it's
it
just
doesn't
contraction.
even have a want.
No, it doesn't have a want. No.
It's literally just that.
Yeah, it's just contraction. Yeah, contraction for no one. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Yeah.
What would be the kind of ethical and moral implications of a falling away? Because if you think about the different kinds of Buddhism, there's the enlightened ones, the Mahayana, I think, want to remain with other human beings while they kind of lead them to enlightenment, whereas there's another part of Buddhism that says, right, I'm enlightened, I'm off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of that is just a sort of dream. It's just a dream. I mean, that's it. That's a picture of a personal enlightenment.
Yeah.
This is a person that can be enlightened and then choose to kind of stay behind to cure humanity. You know, I mean, that is amazingly arrogant, isn't it? I mean, just like it's incredible, really. But yeah, it's a hierarchical dream state. It's just I mean, there's been many of those kind of things. All of that is part of the religious practice, which is all about becoming and getting somewhere, and then the moralism you know, that you were talking about, the morals, the ethics. Of course, those are just stories. There are morality, ethics are stories that are repeated, told, repeated. They're about people, lots of people's preferences, you know, people who have similar preferences, applying those preferences and saying this is right and this is wrong, but actually all it is preference.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's for, you know, and there's preference and response. You know, there's if somebody you know is is abusive, there can be a response to that. If somebody is aggressive, there can be a response to that.
And to someone else's suffering as well.
And to somebody else's suffering, yeah, there can be a response to that. But it's not necessarily the response that is desired by the you know the people that are making the rules up. It's just spontaneous. There's nobody doing it. So yes, there can be a response to saving a child from some situation, but there can also be a response not that does something completely opposite.
Okay, so there's no fundamental good and evil. There's no
no.
Right,
There's no evil. Evil is absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
Good
because
and evil.
That's part of the duality. The
Absolutely.
Good and evil. Then.
Absolutely. There's just what seems to be happening. There's just different. Different energy and different attraction and repulsion.
Would you say that in a way, you know, everyone's actions, there's like an innocence?
Yes. Yes. Everything is innocent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Everything is innocent. There's no one to blame.
You know you're doing it.
Yeah.
So children never lose their innocence.
No. Nobody loses innocence. Innocence can't actually be lost. It can be. There's a veiling of innocence, but it's never lost. Because all there is innocence.
Mm-hmm. Fundamentally, that's what it is at the bottom.
All there is innocence, if you like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
it kind of
expanding
arises.
that word.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
If there's somebody who's going to be guilty, then, you know, there's a judge, you know, which implies God, basically.
So innocence is unconditional positive regard.
Unconditional.
No, conditional love, I mean.
Unconditional love, yeah, if you like. I prefer unconditional neutrality, but it's up to you. Yeah, unconditional love is, yeah.
But what about people who enjoy torturing other people?
Well, that's what, I mean, there is that energy that seems to be contracted in that form. But I mean, what about that exactly? That's what seems to happen sometimes. I mean, you don't like that. I mean, what's there. Obviously, that is not something that is there's a desire to move away from that. There, I presume, is why you asked that.
Well, they seem to be hijacked somehow to find that necessary and desirable and enjoyable and satisfying.
Who?
The people who
yes.
would enjoy torturing other people, or animals or whatever.
Right. I mean, that's just energy in that form. It's just energy that is perhaps one could say that there's a sort of a contraction there that sort of, is cathartically removes its contraction in those behaviours. I mean, there's no one that you can blame because there is no one doing that.
It seems that's the confrontation, because there's nobody ultimately you can't blame someone for that. That's the confrontation.
Yeah.
There's nobody guilty of that. Like, that's the confrontation for the person. No, somebody has to be doing that. We have to punish someone for that, in a way. There's a right and a wrong in that world. In that dream, there is a right and a wrong, a good and a bad. That there are monsters, that there is evil, that there's a right way and a wrong way.
And they have to be stopped.
They have to be
stopped.
You are saying that they have to be stopped.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If I was somebody torturing you, I would do everything I could do to stop that person doing that to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's. I think that's what's going on. That's what that reaction. There could be that reaction.
Sorry for interrupting you there. Like, in a way, is it like there could be torture and there could be intervention and stopping it, and that would just be what's happening?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, these are hypothetical situations, right? So these are situations that we're conjuring up. This is a sort of conjuring up of a storyline, and then what is going to happen. And there is no knowing of that. There's no knowing of what immediate. I mean, if you speak to people that actually go into battle, right? Trained soldiers or people like this, they can go into war, and they've been trained to the hilt. There's a mortar that lands close to them, and they just run. Is all of the training that they had for 20 years goes out the window, and they just bolt in the other direction, and they're judged for that.
Oh yeah.
So okay, that's considered to be wrong.
Cowardice.
Cowardice, yeah, right. And the same, so how does it, do you see what I'm saying? There's just what seems to happen. There's just spontaneity. There's just somebody doing something, whatever they're doing, and there's a response to that. And there can be a response which is protective. There can be a response which is running away. There can be all of these things, and it's completely open. There is nothing that is right or wrong about any of those responses. All there is what seems to happen.
Which is already the case, but
yeah.
It just seems like the overlay is that everyone's making choices about it and making decisions.
Yeah.
It's already the case.
Yes, it's already there.
So there's nothing really going to happen. It's just a sense that you're controlling it, or it's already.
And what it means to be, or whatever.
It's already decisions, somebody intervening, not intervening, doing good, doing bad, apparently. It's already happening.
Yeah.
And there's just a sense that people are doing it and that I'm in control of it and everyone's making decisions about it. But it's already happening that way. So nothing's changing.
Apparently happening, yeah.
Apparently,
yeah.
There's no issue.
There's already good things, bad things, apparently.
Yes.
War, not war, kindness, meanness.
Yeah. And there's a preference that is there. The preference here does not like any kind of aggression or violence. It moves away from that. I don't move towards that. this body doesn't, you know. But there are some bodies that go towards that. There's a certain character, type of character, and there's nothing wrong with either of them. It's fine.
And with unconditional love, there's no issue.
No. That's the quality of unconditional. It's all allowed. You know, it's all allowed. There's no, you know.
Like in a way that whole sense of control is the contractedness. It's all like the sense of control is so contracting because there's a sort of a
yeah.
It's this how I describe it.
Yeah, it feels like the control comes from the fear and the judgment and the needing to categorize or the needing to
seeking. It's all seeking something.
From that sort of impulse. Yeah. And what that impulse does, is it does kind of corrode you in a way. It feels like it corrodes something inside you, that need to control, that need to judge, that need to. I mean, that's my experience of it anyway.
Well, there's a sense that there's a sense that is a story somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a sense that all of that is a story.
So it's not real.
It's not real.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there is a sort of a quality of sort of playing a role involved in that. There's a sort of play, you know, acting acting the moral person.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a disconnect between something quite deep inside you and then this.
Yes.
Sort of overlay. I think someone said overlay. Yeah. And then a kind of knowledge that it is an overlay and that it's not quite right.
It's a sense. I mean, in a sense, that's why there's this attraction to this, because this is not in any way engaging with that overlay world, if you like. That meing.
Yeah.
There's nothing on offer to respond to that. So there's a sort of that this is an occasion where there isn't anything for that me state, which in this world is quite a rare thing, you know, because everywhere else it's just all about
like it's not helping you. It's not going to help you make sense of what's happening.
Well, it's not for you.
No, like this isn't practical to make your life better. It's not going to help you make sense of why the world's bad and shit's happening. It's not practical in that way at all. It's descriptive. It's not
practical in that. I mean,
in that it can be applied to your life somehow.
Yes, because practicality, interestingly, is very often defined by the me state. The me state's practicality is actually deeply impractical and totally unsustainable.
Yeah, it's a killer. Yeah, it is.
So, interestingly, the world's ideology of practicality is bullshit. Just
what it serves certain interests.
This is what is deeply efficient. It's much more, you know. I mean, it's this is the nature of natural efficiency is quite amazing in a way, you know.
There's no effort involved in it.
There's no effort.
So
exactly.
It's not that.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. Yeah. There's no effort. efforting is extremely energetically draining.
It's so draining, yeah. I was just thinking, because from a young age, in the story I had a sense of, well, there was a lot of responsibility felt from my younger sisters and stuff.
Yeah.
And that sense has kind of carried on in my parent life. Mm-hmm. But now it seems like it's so... It never really felt right. It doesn't feel right. It's like... But it still kind of happens. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. I totally understand. I mean, I have a sense of that from before.
Yeah.
Because I was in that sort of carer role.
Yeah, same.
So
Yeah.
And there's a sense, you know, that's all very much about doing the right thing and being a good person, being morally good. And especially when it comes to sort of life-threatening illnesses and things like that, is that there's that you know, it is morally correct to martyr yourself for a particular cause. Yes. That's what somebody with integrity does. There's actually I can't remember the name of this film, but actually there's this film with Will Ferrell.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, and he goes skiing, I think, with his kids, and I can't. It's called the Avalanche. One with the avalanche. You remember that? Yeah. And there's an avalanche that comes, and his immediate response, he's got his children and his wife there, and his immediate response is to save himself. That's a bit, and it is so instantaneous that there's no possibility of him being able to and so he just runs and he leaves his wife and his kids in front of this avalanche, and they survive, of course, but then there's this whole thing of like, you just left us, you just left us to, in this awful, situation, and you're not a man, you're not, you're not, you look at you, you're just like this, you should have done this and that. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant film. It's a brilliant film. It's absolutely brilliant because it's something showing that there's absolutely no time for morality or any of that shit at all, and it's just spontaneous, and that's what seems to happen. And you can see that in natural. You go and watch David Attenborough or whatever it is. You'll see there's a herd of wildebeest or whatever, a lion or whatever it is. They all rush off, and the youngest ones are left. They, the ones that should be protected. Sometimes it just is not fair. The way that the me wants things to be fair.
It's a great word, fair, isn't it?
Fair, yeah.
So integrity is a me word, really.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. It's very moral.
Isn't there an animal that throws its young at the prey and then runs away?
Probably, possibly. Yeah,
I'm sure there is.
Yes, possibly. Yeah.
I mean, I had this really strong, I had this sense of like, I love what you're talking about innocence, and there's a sense or a memory or something of absolute innocence, and then something happened, and then it was shamed. It was innocence is shamed, really, and then what comes into being is coping mechanisms, which is the me and the people pleasing and being good and the morals and then the church and all the stuff that comes on top of that. But and at the bottom of that is innocence, is shamed, but also that must also all be innocence.
All of it. all
and
of
that,
it, everything.
That's just really struck me today. It's like
everything.
all innocence.
Yeah, even the judgment of whether somebody is innocent or not is an innocence.
Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't be any other way.
No.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like for this to be a certain way, for this to be a certain way, or to want it to be a certain way, there would have to be some sense that somehow there's you're sort of, there has to be some authority or some order.
Yeah.
For this to be for something to want this to be a certain way.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of authority, guiding principle, sort of something else, sort of.
Yeah. Well, something else.
Something else.
There's always something else, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's me and something else.
Yeah.
Subject, object. Yeah. Just naturally that seems to go like that. Just that's just naturally. Me state just, and then something else. There's something else. There's nothing else. All there is what's happening. All there is immediacy.
The me can't do without something else.
No.
One of the things that I find really hard is the constant trying.
Yeah.
And that falls away, doesn't it, with that need.
That is the me, yeah. The trying is me. Me tries. Yeah.
And that's where the relief comes.
That's it,
that
yes.
falls away.
That's the, yes, exactly.
But you can't stop trying, can you?
You can't stop trying. No, you can't just. This isn't a formula to then. Stop trying.
That's why you say it falls away.
Yeah, it just falls
like
away.
something
Yeah.
you sort of actively push away.
Yes.
Just
The energy drains out of trying.
you see through it, don't you?
Well, it is seen through by no one. Yeah. It is seen through. There is an end to the process of trying to get somewhere, because there's recognised that there's nowhere to get. Yeah. It's already this.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
And there is always a hope.
Yes.
That
Yes,
it's going to happen.
Yes. Yes, the me, again, the me is the hoper. It's the hoper, the dreamer. Dreams are always about a hope. Hopes and dreams.
Always tomorrow,
Yes.
the next.
Yes.
Always expecting something.
Always expecting, yeah. And it's, all of that is very tense.
Yes.
There's a tension in hoping. in dreaming. There's a tension in it, and that's underneath that. That's the thing that just unnecessary. Irrelevant. Hope is irrelevant. It's just not that it's there's just not even a going into it. Hopes and dreams is just recognised it's irrelevant. Hope is irrelevant.
And hoping that something has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes I realize but nothing has to happen.
Yeah.
What I'm expecting.
Yeah.
And for a while.
Yeah.
Only for a while.
Yeah, it's always me's always trying to get somewhere. It's always the sort of the traveller, yeah.
It's absolutely bloody endless.
Well, no.
You're always trying to get somewhere.
Yes.
When you get there, what we don't.
Yes.
And then you're always trying to get somewhere else.
Yes, it isn't endless. It ends. There's that. I mean, every night that ends.
Yeah.
And many times for many people, seeming individuals in here, there's moments of that break down all the time. It's not constant. It's not in control. There's nothing in control.
It's like oh, thanks. Hello.
Yeah, crash on.
Sorry, yeah, sorry. That's great.
Carry on.
Carry on. Carry on the story.
We've just got to the good bit.
Oh,
yeah.
Hopeless gets it, doesn't it? Hopeless gets it.
Hopeless, yeah. Yeah, sure. But I think hopeless also has that kind of thing of like, there's something terrible about, it's hopeless, But this is what I'm saying is that hope is actually irrelevant. It's an irrelevant hope.
Less.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's a kind of collapse, isn't it? Hopeful, hopeless.
Yeah.
The irrelevance of hopefulness, irrelevant,
yes.
hopelessness. Just a sort of meeting in the middle. And
Yes. Neutrality.
Neutrality.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing that we can do to get, but there's nothing that we can do to avoid.
Yes. It's powerless.
Like,
yeah.
Because
me just does that. That's it.
But doesn't matter to me.
No. It's just what it does. And there's nothing, there's no power at all.
But this is very, because there are ideas we should do that, do that, not do that.
Sure.
But it's impossible.
No. Yeah, definitely.
There's no relation.
No. No. There's no possibility of there being any way that me can get anywhere that it imagines that it needs to be or it needs to get to. All of it is a kind of fantasy. It has no idea what it wants.
Doesn't see anything.
No, it doesn't know what it wants. It just knows that, as I was saying before, the only strategy of me is contraction. It's a single strategy for everything. So it's not particularly good at strategy, if you ask me.
Particularly effective.
It's not particularly good at strategy. I mean, there's no other. It's just an energetic contraction, just energy contraction. It can't. There's nothing. There's no sort of super intelligence behind that. It's just what seems to happen. Contraction for no one.
And there's nothing to be gained anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. No. There's just this. It's very simple.
But there is a difference between the contraction and then the falling away.
Yeah, there's a seeming, yes, there is. There's a difference, a sense of relief from, it's an absence.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And is there a sense of lightness as well?
Here there was more of a sense of lightness, I think. Yeah. But it's not, everybody's not the same, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Because the stories and the energy in those stories is a quite a heavy thing, you know. Seems to be quite a heavy burden, you know, and that just
You put it down.
Just it's over.
Well, it doesn't even exist.
You can't put it down.
That it didn't even exist in the first place. Yeah. Amazing.
It's just an illusion, just you know, really. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming today. Lovely to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.